Welcome back to Wisdom Unveiled. Today we're diving deep again, exploring the poetry of Hafez Shirazi through the lens of some really insightful discussions by Dr. Ebrahim Dinani and Dr. Esmail Mansouri Larijani.
That's right. And just a heads up for everyone listening, this is based on translations of their conversation. So, sometimes the finer points, the exact nuance might get a little lost. We do apologize if anything seems slightly off.
Absolutely. We're continuing our focused journey into Hafez. This is actually our 15th deep dive out of 40 dedicated just to him.
And today we're zeroing in on one specific ghazal, looking really closely at the opening lines.
Okay. And particularly the concept of the yar, the beloved, right?
Exactly, the yar. It's central right from the start.
Let's read those opening lines first, just to set the stage.
Good idea.
A star shone and became the moon of the assembly.
Our distressed heart became intimate and companion.
My beloved, who went not to school and did not write,
Became a teacher of problems through coquetry.
in goodness, temperament, and faithfulness, no one reaches our beloved.
For you, in this speech, denial is not our task.
Although beauty sellers have come forth in display,
No one reaches our beloved in goodness and charm.
by the truth of our long companionship, no confidant of secrets.
Reaches our single-minded, appreciative beloved.
1,000 designs emerge from the pen of creation, yet not one.
Reaches the heart-pleasing design of our beloved.
So hearing those lines, the immediate thought for many is probably romantic love, Hafez, love poems. It seems straightforward.
It does. That's the common reading. But Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani, they offer a different path here. They suggest that in this ghazal, especially these opening verses, the yar, the beloved, is actually a reference to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Okay, that's a significant shift. What leads them to that interpretation? It's quite specific.
Well, there are a few layers. First, context is key. The original discussion we're drawing from, it happened around Eid Mabath.
Right, the anniversary of the Prophet's first revelation.
Exactly. So that timing definitely frames their thinking. But it's more than just timing. We have to remember who Hafez was. He was a Hafiz of the Quran.
Meaning he had memorized the entire text.
The whole thing. So someone that deeply immersed in Islamic scripture, you'd expect those themes, that understanding, to permeate his work, perhaps subtly.
So they see clues within the poem itself.
Yes, they point to specific linguistic markers, spiritual undertones. It's a reading grounded in both the text and the tradition Hafez was steeped in.
Let's dig into one of those markers then. They talk about the phrase, Iya, goodness, temperament, faithfulness. Particularly in that line, in goodness, temperament, and faithfulness, no one reaches our beloved.
Right, and here they make a really crucial distinction. It hinges on two words that sound similar but have distinct meanings. Khalq and kulq.
Kulq. Okay, break that down for us.
Sure. So khalq, that's Khalq, with the short ah sound refers to the outward creation, the physical form, the structure of a human being.
Like our physical makeup.
Exactly. The Quran mentions humans being created fi ahsani taqwim, in the best of molds. It's about that inherent God-given physical perfection, the external aspect.
Okay, the outward creation. Got it. So about kulq.
Kulq, Khulq, with that woo sound, moves inward. This is about the inner disposition, the moral character, the ethics.
The inner self.
Yes, what they call the Malakut nafsani, the spiritual attributes. These things together form our akhlaq, our morals, our ethics. And unlike the physical form, this inner character isn't just given, it's cultivated.
Cultivated how? Through effort.
Through effort, definitely through practice, and also, importantly, through divine grace or blessing. It's something developed.
So kulq is the beautiful vessel. Kulq is the character developed within it. And they emphasize Iyasan, good temperament.
Precisely. Hasan kulq. And this isn't just one single thing. It's a whole constellation of positive qualities.
Like what? What falls under that umbrella?
Things like love, mercy, kindness, good conduct, justice, fairness, and significantly for this verse, wafa, faithfulness.
Okay, but hold on. If faithfulness, wafa, is part of Hazan Kulq, why does Hafez single it out? Goodness, temperament, and faithfulness.
That's a great question, and the philosophers suggest Hafez does that for emphasis. While faithfulness is an aspect of good character, highlighting it separately underlines its immense importance.
Especially in the context of a beloved figure.
Exactly. Whether human or divine, faithfulness is paramount. And in their interpretation, linking this to the prophet, they stress his supreme faithfulness to God, to his mission, to his community, to all humanity.
And this connects directly to how the Quran describes the prophet, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They draw a straight line from this verse to the Quranic description in Surah Al-Qalam, where God describes the prophet as having khulqin azim, a tremendous moral character.
A great moral character. So Hafez is echoing that divine praise.
That's the interpretation, yes. That Hafez is reflecting this idea of the prophet's unparalleled khulq, his inner character, being divinely acknowledged as exceptional.
Which leads into the next line. For you, in this speech, denial is not our task. It sounds like a challenge almost.
It does. They read it as an assertion. No one can reasonably deny the supreme moral character and faithfulness attributed to the prophet.
Why not? What's the basis for that certainty?
Well, they argue that denying it would mean rejecting the testimony of all previous prophets and contradicting the prophet's own unique status as the Khatam an-Nabiyyin.
The seal of the prophets.
Huh.
Let's unpack that term, Khatam. It means more than just last, right?
Oh, definitely. Khatam, seal, has a rich meaning here. Yes, it signifies finality. He's the last prophet, bringing the line of prophecy to its completion, its perfection.
No more prophets after him.
Correct. But it also evokes the image of a signet ring, a seal used for authentication.
Like sealing a letter.
Exactly. That seal signifies authority, completion, the final perfect impression. So the prophet as the Khatam isn't just the end of the line, he's the ultimate expression, the authoritative culmination of prophethood.
The final and perfect stamp. They also really emphasize the consistency of his life, don't they?
They do. They highlight his conduct from birth to death, stressing that there's no record of, any moral failing or inconsistency. It's presented as a life lived with impeccable integrity.
And his teachings endure.
And his teachings continue to illuminate, yes. It's not just about the past, it's about the ongoing impact.
To make this tangible, they share that story. The one about the Jewish woman. It really illustrates this Hazan Kulki in action.
It's a powerful anecdote. The story goes that this woman would regularly throw trash or refuse at the prophet as he passed her house, just out of spite or disagreement.
Right. A daily occurrence.
Yes. Then one day, it didn't happen. He noticed her absence, essentially. And instead of, being relieved or just moving on, he inquired about her.
And found out she was ill.
And what did he do? He went to visit her. Showed her kindness and concern despite how she had treated him.
Wow, that speaks volumes.
It really does. The philosophers use it as a prime example of his extraordinary forbearance and compassion, the practical application of Hasan Kult. And, they add, it sets a standard for his followers.
A standard that contrasts sharply with the era he was born into, the Jahiliyyah. They clarify that wasn't just about illiteracy.
No, absolutely not. Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance, wasn't primarily about lacking reading or writing skills. It described a state of deep moral and social decay.
What characterized it?
Widespread tribalism, feuds, injustice, deceit, a real breakdown of ethical norms. It was a harsh environment.
And the prophet's impact?
Transformative.
Yeah.
They emphasize how his character, his Hazan Kulk, managed to penetrate this harshness. Even facing hostility and prejudice, his conduct drew people in, changed hearts and minds. It wasn't just his words, it was his example.
So Hafez might be hinting at this transformative power. They also bring in another line from Hafez, right? About beauty and charm seizing the world.
Yes. Hasan be etifa'i malahat jahan gereft. Beauty with the agreement of charm has seized the world.
Okay, Hasan and Malahat. Beauty and charm. Are these just synonyms, or is there a difference?
There is a subtle but important difference they explore. Hasan, beauty, they define as mazun budan.
Meaning?
Being proportionate, harmonious, everything in its right place, perfectly balanced, like Michelangelo seeing David within the stone and just removing the excess. It's about that inherent perfect structure and form.
An objective, balanced perfection.
Okay.
And Malahat.
Malahat is charm, grace, sometimes translated as saltiness, namakin budan. It's something extra, something beyond perfect proportion that's captivating, appealing, but hard to pin down.
Like a twinkle in the eye or a certain way someone carries themselves?
Exactly. It's perceived, but maybe not easily described. Yudrak wala yusaf. Hasan might be the perfect features. Malahat is the captivating expression.
And the point is the prophet possessed both.
To an unparalleled degree, according to the interpretation. This unique combination of perfect inner and outer goodness, Hasan, and this irresistible charm, Malahat, is what allowed him, in a sense, to seize the world.
Fascinating distinction. Then they look at the line about the Yariyek Jihad, the single-minded beloved. No confidant reaches our single-minded, appreciative beloved. Single-minded could sound limiting.
It could if you take it superficially, but they interpret Yekjahat single-minded or perhaps of one direction very differently.
How so?
It's not about a lack of depth or variety in the beloved. It's about the beloved's singular focus towards something.
Towards what?
Towards the Wash al-Haq, the face of God, the truth. It signifies an absolute, unwavering orientation towards the divine.
Ah, so it's about devotion, not limitation.
Precisely. They connect it to the Qur'anic verse, wherever you turn, there is the face of Allah. It points to the ultimate unity of reality, that all paths lead to the truth, Allah.
And the prophet embodies this.
As the ultimate monotheist, yes, his entire being directed towards the one. It even touches on deeper mystical concepts like the Hakikata Muhammadiyya, the Mohammedan reality, this idea of the prophet's spiritual essence as a unifying principle.
That really opens up that phrase. Okay, one last line from this opening section. 1,000 designs emerge from the pen of creation, yet not one reaches the heart-pleasing design of our beloved.
A beautiful line. Here, the design of our beloved, the Nashe Nagar, is again interpreted as the prophet.
And the pen of creation.
That represents all of God's creation, the Sanihak. The universe is filled with countless beautiful forms, 1,000 designs. But the verse suggests none of these myriad creations quite reaches the level of heart-pleasingness, the captivating perfection found in the design of the beloved, specifically his inner character, his kulk.
So while all creation is beautiful, the prophet's inner reality holds a unique, supreme beauty.
That's the essence of it. They briefly contrast this eternal kulk with the physical kulk, which, ages and changes. The inner beauty is seen as timeless and unsurpassed.
It really brings the focus back to that internal ethical dimension, the Hasan Kulk.
Exactly. They conclude the segment by emphasizing just how crucial cultivating that good character is, using the prophet as the ultimate exemplar. It's an invitation for reflection.
And they mentioned they'll continue exploring this same ghazal, looking even deeper into Hasan Kulk and what they call makarame akhlaki.
Yes, noble ethical virtues. There's more to unpack in this rich poem.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful, just focusing on these opening lines. It adds such depth to Hafez's words, seeing them through this particular interpretive lens connecting to the prophet.
It really highlights the layers possible in his poetry.
They finished their thoughts on this section by reciting the next few lines, which we read earlier.
Your beauty, with the agreement of charm, has seized the world.
Yes, with agreement, the world can be seized.
He wanted to reveal the secret of those in seclusion.
I heard this news that the secret of his heart was captured in his speech. Powerful lines to reflect on.
Indeed. And they end with a wish, a prayer, really, for the listeners.
A hope that we might all be granted such spiritual understanding.
A beautiful sentiment to close on.
Thank you once again for guiding us through this complex and rewarding interpretation.
My pleasure. It's always illuminating to explore these connections.
And thank you all for joining us on Wisdom Unveiled.
Essa flanka here is something untratuet and intellery, kinvine, and zog and chibet.